Welcome everyone to my studio. Here you go, buddy. This is Ace. And over here is Scooter. And these two jokers are a couple of my coworkers. We have 2 dogs and 3 inside cats and 1 outside cat. But this is the far side of the room by the door, so you can get a little look. And this is my favorite time in the morning in here. However, I'm usually in here all day, so at nighttime it looks really nice with all the lights on. Let me get this one on so it's a little brighter over here, but it does look warm and cozy at night. I feel like this room should be all my Victorian things. For some reason, that's just how I've decided it. And my kitchen is my fairy things. My workshop is my fairy things. And the closet, my doll closet downstairs, is for my vintage 50s and through the 80s dolls. So I just need like a mansion, I guess, so I can have these separate little rooms. No, I don't need a mansion. Our house is nice. Our house is 100 years old, or it will be next year. So one more year will make it 100 years old. So if you're watching my videos and you hear cracking, popping, and what have you, well, I'm trying to make it happen right now, but it's not. It's because of the wood floors and the houses whopper-jawed or wonky. And so I actually never notice how creaky the floors are until I make a video, because you kind of just get used to it in your daily life. Though we've had house guests to tell us, hey, your house is really creaky. And it's like, oh yeah, it is, isn't it? You don't really notice until you're listening to the recording. But anyway, so for fairy people, I will be showing you more fairy things. Also, I have my garden where my fairies are represented. So if you're disappointed in all this, kind of antique, shabby, chic, Victorian stuff, and that's not your thing, and you thought, well, I thought Liz created in a more, fantasy-like atmosphere. Well, this is where I sculpt, and I do have other areas in the house, so to match all my personalities. So I'll go just really quickly. Over here is where I draw and where I plan for the day and for the week. So this is planning, drawing, some painting, and then if I'm going to be doing a big sewing project, this table I got it at the Goodwill a long time ago. It's so sturdy. I will clear that off, and if I know I'm going to be sewing for a while, that's the table that I'll use. And then over here is just storage. These little end tables are actually end tables that I got. Somebody was giving away. Friend of the family, and I was like, hey, I'm going to use those for my little pets, because look how cozy they are in there. That is my sculpting, and right now I'm working on Edgar Allan Poe bust, and so that's what's there right now. But this is normally where I sculpt my fairies, so I will use that area for sculpting, and it's got the bright sunlight right there. And then over here is where I go to dress them, put their hair on, make their wings. And as my daughter says, my room is mostly decorations and it's not very utilitarian, but whatever. We all have to have some inspiration. This dollhouse right here, it will be getting moved, and I'm redoing the upper floor, so the wallpaper's torn up and everything, but it's getting moved because it has two 2-room additions, and it has a conservatory. So if you can imagine that the two-story additions are about like that, and they go on either side, and then there's a conservatory. So this will be getting moved so it can be all together, and so it's not fully furnished. I kind of put a couple of things in there, but it's needing work, and it's actually going to just have to go down into my basement workshop so I can work on it again. And then over here, I think you guys have all seen this. This is my cabinet house that I made. That is, well, it's supposed to be like a cabinet house that I made for my daughter. She has another dollhouse, and it's in the basement. That's getting redone. So she has this, which I've acquired back, and then her original dollhouse. And we have several. Like, we do not have a house big enough for all of the stuff that I make. I don't know why I continue to keep making it, but I'm dollhouse crazy. Dollhouse. This is the Closet of Doom, and I never did sew up those edges right there that you can see. I always look at that and say, oh, how tacky, Liz. How would you just leave it like that? But yeah, this is the Closet of Doom, and if you've watched the Temple of Doom, you'll know that if you get inside here, you must carefully arrange things and make sure that you put something back in of the same weight, or everything will collapse. You're not going to see inside there because it is shameful. It has lots of plastic drawers, but then on top of that are lots of dolls that I'm working on. And then over here is a shelf that I actually just got, I think last year. My dad had built this shelf, and I do need to rearrange some things. I've been going through my supplies and just giving it, you know, an honest, hard look and deciding if I'm going to actually use them in the future and whether or not I can pass those along to other people so they can actually use it instead of me hoarding all these art supplies and craft supplies. So this might end up being a little bit more filled in with like baskets and things. So I don't know. I'll just get around to it. Sometimes I get into these modes where I'm organizing, and it's really honestly a way, like one of my tactics that I use and I'm not even aware of. Where I'm just actually avoiding real work because I say, oh, I have to organize this. How can I possibly get anything done? And then I get involved in pulling out all my art supplies and fabrics and stuff. So anyway, that's the whole tour, such as it is. My studio, such as it is, probably not super exciting. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm doing so good on the time, and I'm going to go ahead and go over a couple little projects that are in the works here. So if you got this far and you want to go ahead and click out of the video, thank you guys for spending this much time with me. And I hope you have a magical day. And if you are a glutton for punishment and you want to hear me ramble some more, then stay tuned, because we're going to go from wall to wall and check out some of the things that I hopefully am going to finish this month. Okay. Over Christmas, I was really, really sick. I missed out on a couple of celebrations that I always look forward to, where I get to visit with my nieces and nephews and brother and sisters-in-law. And I was given this Golden Girls Chia Pet. And Sophia is my absolute favorite of the Golden Girls, even though I'm really a Rose. I think as far as who I identify with, I think I'm a Rose. But I really like Sophia. She's savage. She's just funny. Anyway, I think I'm going to do like a miscellaneous Monday video where I just do something a little bit different than what people are expecting. And we're going to do that Chia Pet, and we're going to talk Golden Girls, because my grandma Wanda, who's not here anymore, that was her thing, and we loved watching that together. So that'll be another video. There are my kids when they were in elementary school. There's my calendar I never update. My crazy bulletin board with inspiration and things. There's my dummy that I'm working on. And my little coloring book that's got really neat line drawings in here. Gives you great ideas for outfits. Some couple of things. Winter there. I don't know if you guys have heard of that place, but I found these at the Goodwill several years ago, and I decided that I want to take a trip here for my 25th anniversary, which will be next year. My husband and I got married 1 year after we graduated, so I feel like he would really enjoy this. Not. But it is really neat. There's gardens. There's different areas that are set up and decorated differently. And you know there's got to be some dolls in there somewhere. It just looks really quaint and romantic and fascinating. So that's coming up. And then here's another book that I found. It's very good for decorating your dollhouse and understanding the Victorian age and understand, you know, the daily life. And then when you're going to do a dollhouse, then you can kind of plan things out. So it looks more historically accurate. Along with this one right here, we're just doing a little flip through here. This is a Victorian Treasures. It's just antiques, and this was really good for just coming up with little miniatures that I could make. And I actually, coincidentally, this right here, this pottery set, I actually sculpted some of these on polymer clay and painted them to kind of look like this. Now, I will say that the flowers were lacking in my miniature versions, but overall the effect I got for the glaze was really good. But anyway, that's also really good for dollhouses. I always say, and here's a Victorian Crafts, I always say that if you're a dollhouse miniaturist, then you are a crafter of everything. You have to be like a crocheter, an embroiderer, a upholsterer, all sorts of things, a carpenter, and you learn a lot of skills. And I got this from a friend, I think for like a quarter or 50 cents, I don't know. She was selling it at her yard, so you can fit a lot of stuff in here. I originally painted it black for Halloween for part of my lobby scene, and now I repainted it again for in here. And this was the first year that I had done this setup. Usually I try not to be too creepy, but I didn't think this was over the top. And we just had a little hotel lobby, and everybody seemed to like it. And I hired my husband for the night to answer the phones, and you can't get good help these days. And here's Lizzie Borden herself. This was just a already printed doll. So, but the face, as you can hear, I have put paint on it. This is how it came, minus her arms, which I painted, or her hands. And she had a dress on that matched this print. So this is how she came from the neck down, and then I just painted over her face. The doll's face, rather. It was like a cute, simple doll face. And then I did a portrait of her. Because I'm obsessed with Lizzie Borden. And I actually went to stay at the bed and breakfast. I stayed in the room, the John Morse guest room. And people always ask me, oh, were you scared? No, it was very cheerful and fun. And the people who were staying the night there, I'm still friends with them on Facebook. They're fun, neat people. And our host that day was Shelly, and I'm friends with her on Facebook now. It's been a few years, but she's a really neat lady, and she actually came out with some Lizzie Borden paper dolls recently. She and her daughter came up with them, so I'm getting 2 sets. I'm getting one to cut and play with, and then I'm going to keep the other ones uncut. So I am going to be making her a dress, and seeing how they came up with those paper dolls, I'm going to copy one exactly. Kind of like the idea of that right there with the line drawings in the coloring book. It'll be like a guideline for me. And then, because my dad's boss had passed away last year, they dismantled, well, they didn't really dismantle it completely, but they took out a lot of the basement workshop that he has, his little wood shop, and he's given me his extra scroll saw. So I hardly ever sketch anything out, and this is really crappy. But I had like a little crappy pencil with no eraser on it, so I've been itching to use that scroll saw so I can make some little cottages. And these ones won't be like my other ones. They won't be finished on the inside. They'll just be for look. So I'm going to add a couple more to my garden. And there's my little raggities. My grandma Frances, who passed away, I had made a bunch of rag dolls, and I had given them to her over the years, and she had them on her bed, and when she passed, then I got those all back. And so I decided to keep these out, even though poor Andy here, he is missing some tufts of hair. And so we'll have to fix him up. And they are made from this book right here. I set this out to show you. I got this book when my husband and I were dating. I think I was about 16 or 17. And we went to Little Professor bookstore at the mall. Like, there for a couple of years, I was a mall kid. But then now I'm not. I just not interested in the malls. But I do love bookstores. And I did every single one of these. I don't know how many times I've done these. I just got so fascinated with this book. And so the raggedy dolls the pattern is in here. So I was itching to do that again. Here's my little thing of the patterns that I made out of it. I think I'm going to make a couple of things because I'm just in the mood. You know, sometimes you get in the mood. Here's a hutch that I was given when I was a kid. Really liked it, and I actually set it up and made it to look like a dollhouse. Go figure, when I was a kid. Under here is where I had a little dollhouse too. When I had my two kids, then it functioned as a regular hutch, but then I kind of distressed it and put it in here now. And in here is where I keep my ball jointed dolls, and I'm not really big into them, but I do have 3. One that I purchased, and then let me show you. One that I purchased, and 2 smaller ones that I was given from my friend in Australia. Sent me 2 of her little ball jointed dolls that she and her daughter had gotten and had planned to fix up. But she decided that she was going to give them to me because she felt like I could have more fun with them, and it was very sweet of her. But if anybody's interested in that, right now it's really messy in there, but it's kind of like a little, it's a dollhouse with one level, and then there's a loft, because there's like a half shelf in there, and it has a little area on the top. But this is the doll, it is the Real Fae, Fairyland Real Fae Basic Haru girl. And then my friend Nicole did the face up for me, and she did it like at a very, very discounted price, and she's like amazing. Anyway, that's what's in there. And I just did get this little gal recently. My friend Roxanne gave this to me. It was her grandma's, and I like her as is, but when I get a little time, I'm going to start working on her. And some other little dolls that I've collected. Here's my little grandpa Faye, and I was gonna, or Fairy, and I was gonna sell him, but you know what? He sat around so long waiting for his clothes that he's kind of, I can't get rid of him now. He's just part of the studio, and then when I'm making the fairies, and I have to go, stop for the night, and I go downstairs, and I know he's in here keeping them in line, reading them stories and stuff. Some more storage. Over here, I'm working on, like I said, this Edgar Allan Poe bust. And he's coming along, I think. He's going to be not like a classical bust, like to look like marble. I know because he looks white right now, like, that look of marble. He's actually going to get painted realistically. He'll have actual fabric clothing, and then I'm going to put hair on him so he looks more realistic. But he's coming along. I think he'll look a lot better when I paint him. There's some fabrics, and that's by no means it's not even close to what I have. Under there's more fabric. Underneath there is all of the hair, acrylic, synthetic. I actually have even real hair, human hair, all stored under there. It looks like it couldn't be a lot, but it is. I gotta pull it all out. whenever I look for something. I try to keep it in categories, just like I try to keep the fabrics in their color bins, but that doesn't always happen. Anyway, I think that's it. There's my Thumbelina still waiting for their bodies to be resewn. There's our Tiny Tears, and she's getting painted today, so that will be finished for everybody. So I'll have that final Tiny Tears video up. I didn't do a doorstep dolly video for these. This one and this one over here, I just did get recently, and I set those out. I have a big Rubbermaid tub of porcelain doll parts. There's a Paris toddler, the twerp that's in there. They're all unfinished except for a couple, like this one is a little bit, it's been finished, but most of them are like in this state right here. So I didn't do doorstep dollies for that, but I was going to, because those came from my neighbor across the street who always did dolls, and her daughter's just getting rid of a ton of stuff. So you'll see some interesting pictures here soon because she's away and I always water her garden. And actually I can show you real quick if you want to see. I water her garden while she's away, and then she gave me a ton of fabrics, laces, and doll parts in payment for having gone over there to do that. And we just have a little one-way street here. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to see. And that's the Arnold's house. I'll do a video when I go over there. Pretty. Hello, Madam Alexander. Huggums. Sharing some secrets. But anyway, I'll be taking some photos of my fairies and my vintage dolls soon because her garden is really in bloom over there. And plus I have to be over there to water it and keep it up while she's gone. So I might actually be getting even more doorstep dollies. So anyway, I think that's it, guys. If there's anything in here that you guys were interested in and just wanted to see more of, like literally everything in my room has a story. So I could bore you for probably a week to tell you all about it. So anyway, I will let you guys go, and you guys have an amazing day. I'm going to do a couple more things here on Edgar and move him over to safety because he's gotten bumped and dinged a couple of times. And then I'm going to grab our Tiny Tears over here, and I'm going to start recording so I can finish out that video. And if you've made it to the very end of this video, thank you for spending some time with me. Please leave any suggestions or comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye-bye.